Unscripted, unshackled, uncouth.
What you're about to hear is for more mature audiences only.
It's Miguel and Holly, Uncensored.
Hello. Welcome to Miguel and Holly Uncensored. This is our off-air podcast we do on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. You can always see it on the Miguel and Holly YouTube channel or on our Facebook page or Hits 96.1. If you watch it, you can always listen on the iHeartRadio app or anywhere you listen to podcasts. Just type in Miguel and Holly Uncensored, and you are officially, even if you listen just once. Now, I got to say, you got to listen at least a month.
Well, I was going to say, if you listen, I don't know about that. Okay, wait a minute. Kind of heavy medium, maybe. Maybe if you've listened to a week's worth of podcasts.
I feel like we give you a lot of leeway to be in the Miguel and Holly fam. I mean, if you happen to be in an Uber with 96.1 on, you're Miguel and Holly fam.
Yeah, you are.
But I feel like for Platypus Posse, you need a higher barrier.
There's a threshold.
Yeah, to get in. Like, you got to be like, I've at least listened a month's worth of podcasts.
I think it's whenever you feel it.
I think if you reference something specifically in the podcast, that also really helps as well.
Yeah, I just feel like when I just feel like you know. You just know.
Right.
We're in the posse together. Like, if you didn't feel it, you'd be like, I don't know, that's not me.
Right.
Even if you listen for a month or two, you still might not be a posse member because you just like, maybe it's just on in the background. You don't really connect to anything. You just like us chattering, whatever. I don't know why you'd still be listening. Maybe you hate listening, whatever.
I'm about to say, wow, that's a lot.
It's a commitment.
Hey, we know that people make those commitments to hate watch.
Oh, yeah. We need to bring that up.
Yeah, I want to say, like, it's weird to me just because I wouldn't ever do that doesn't mean other people wouldn't. So, obviously, it's just when you feel it's right.
Yeah, I feel like that topic will be good. I'm gonna just go ahead and pull that up to.
Okay.
Kelvin, are you able to share stuff from your end?
Yeah.
Okay, can you go ahead and just pull that comment up? And then we're gonna do some feel good stuff first before we get to that.
Shannon on Facebook goes, "Why would you waste your time listening to things you hate?"
Just you wait.
That is a great question and one that I wish I had an answer to. But
that's what we were talking about earlier this morning behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But we are on the road to. Oh wow, we're gonna get there. Excuse me. Before the end of the year, 500 reviews on Apple Podcasts, because that really helps us out and it helps spread the word of the show, because the more you review and give it a higher rating, the more Apple will also share it as well. And if you can on other platforms, that's just the one that's on my phone between that and the iHeartRadio app. Oh, Holly, I saw you have a big smile.
That's good. Shannon goes, "Oh my God, Holly just called me out. I'm fangirling."
Oh, hey, Shannon.
So sweet. So sorry. I'm sorry. I missed what you said. Oh, Apple pushes it up. So just go ahead and wait. God,
Meanwhile,
taking care of the business just takes a lot of time. It's a lot.
I'm here still looking for the comment.
Do you know what it's under? It was under Confessions.
I'm just going through the videos now.
You think it was Confessions? Yeah.
This is from MG Lover 17, a review, first time reviewer, long time listener. I've been listening to Miguel and Holly since that guy Kramer days.
Oh, that's the OG.
When my mom was still dropping me off at school. Graduated in 2011. I was even a part, and Holly, this is going to take you back. I was even a part of one of your contests back then, and this was the summer of 2008. The Hannah Montana contest, where the finalists had to sing a Hannah song on the stage behind the wave pool at Shipwreck Island.
I am dead.
That sticks out because that was the first promotion I was a part of, because that was the summer of 2008, right when I moved to Panama City.
But it never happened.
Yeah.
It never. This is, God, sometimes life's synchronicities make me like trip over myself. So don't ask me. I think it had something to do with the fact that Miley just came out with a new song or something. I literally thought about, or maybe it was also the fact that we just had a hurricane in Florida and we were like waiting to see what the weather was going to be like. I think it was a couple of these things all together last week. literally last week. I was sitting in my living room and however this popped into my head, my daughter was talking about Miley Cyrus, and I was like, oh, that was the Hannah Montana days. And Sheeta obviously doesn't know what that is because she's only 10.
Right.
But it popped in my head at what's the name of the water park?
Shipwreck Island.
Shipwreck.
Mm-hmm.
It popped in my head, and I told my fiance the story about how we were waiting, and I think it might have been a tropical storm or something.
It was,
or just
yeah.
heavy rain coming through in Panama City Beach, and we were supposed to have this karaoke contest about all these kids gonna sing Hannah Montana songs, and we were sitting in our apartment, and we were like, "Do we do it? Do we not?" And we didn't know, and we kind of like. To be honest with you, we kind of didn't
want to do it because I think it was like a Labor Day weekend where it was like
it was. We really did not kind of want to do it because we knew it was going to take so long, and there weren't that many and it was going to be difficult. And then it was like, wait, is it going to get rained out? Is it not going to get rained out? And then I told the story, and I was like, and they ended up canceling it because of the rain. And I was like, and they never rescheduled it.
No, and I was happy. I was, and the only reason why I say that is because, right? A couple years before that, I was in Savannah doing radio, and they had another sort of like water park similar to Shipwreck Island, and I was there with Radio Disney. And we did this whole like high school musical competition where every freaking kid got up there and sang "We're all in this together."
Yes.
And at that point, I had not even watched High School Musical, and I was like, "Well, I sure as hell ain't gonna watch it now because it's getting." And every kid got up there.
Yeah.
All right, little Johnny, are you ready? We're all in this together.
It's so much.
Come on, everyone. But then you could see the stars, like the kids that were okay, you're going someplace. Because they'd be like, yeah, come on, everybody, yeah. And you're like, yeah. But then you have like little moms like, come on, little Johnny. And you're like, you don't want to be there. You're trying to lift the little Johnny girl.
Right.
Correct. You can just tell. Like, that's how it was. One time we had to go to an audition for either American Idol or America's Got Talent when we were in Tampa early on. And we went to the convention center, and we kept having to talk to people.
Yes.
See, I do remember some things.
I remember
and we kept having to talk to people, and every person that we talked to that was lined up in that convention center was singing Adele's Rolling in the Deep. Every single person. And like we had to hear it, and we weren't auditioning people, but for some reason they would like want to sing it for us or whatever. And there's these little girls where she's swearing it, where she's like the very beginning. It was like all the shit you never did or something. And all these little girls are belting this out. And I was like, ma'am, first of all. Second of all, it was so much. And like, it reminded me of any singing, songwriting, promotion, whatever that you do is actually some of the most annoying shit you will ever do because it's
exhausting. And like everybody sings the same songs.
Yes.
So that's why like when people would be like, why are they paying the judges of those shows so much money? And I'm like, to sit through 8 different cities of like 2 days of 8 hours of people singing.
Yeah.
Of course, I'd be Simon Cowell on one of those shows because you just get like, girl, shut the fuck up.
It's almost torture. I mean, it's almost a form of torture where you're like, if I hear the 37th person sing Rolling in the Deep, I will roll off into the deep myself. Like, you understand? Like, if you've never had to do it, you just don't know what I'm talking about. But I did it one time when I was in wherever it was. Oh no, this wasn't even it. I was living in Panama City Beach, and just on my free time, I was down at the beach and they were doing karaoke. It was like family. Every single girl was singing Taylor Swift. And this was like in 2009. So I mean, PTSD, obviously.
It can be a lot. Well, let me finish the review.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
We're still
not done with that.
God bless this person.
Yes. Miguel and Holly made such a lasting impression that I went to school for broadcasting and even worked at Island 106 on middays years later. Oh. You guys are so impactful in the relationships you create through the airwaves. If all of those timestamps didn't already tell you that, I am now 30, living in Arizona with a husband and 1-year-old, and still cannot miss a podcast episode. I've laughed, cried, and celebrated with you guys, and have always taken you with me during road trips, errand running, house cleaning, and of course, the casual listening. Kelvin has also been one of my favorite additions to the show, and I think he's a perfect combination of ridiculous and hilarious. Keep being the raw and real versions of yourselves, because that is what us listeners love most about you guys. Megan.
Wow, Megan.
Holy shit.
I can't believe that someone who's now 30 was in the Hannah Montana promotion. Like, how long have we been doing this godforsaken job?
15 years. That is mind blowing. Like, when you think about the life that you've lived and how you've had this wonderful family that you've created throughout the years that have seen you, and we've talked about this before, throughout all the different versions of yourself.
Yeah.
And it's just, it never ceases to impress and just amaze me that you all continue and choose to listen to us. Because let me tell you, there are so many days that I was about to do the podcast and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck we're going to talk about. And I feel like I should have the energy to prepare and do all these things, because the podcasts I listen to, they are well produced. And like, anytime that we like mention something, like the producers, you can tell behind the scenes, have like edited some things together, and the mistakes and the planned it. And I'm like, well, we just us.
We are a little rough around the edges.
We just here.
It's not what I would call polished.
Yeah.
Putting lipstick on a pig.
It is.
There
that,
you go.
It is that.
But we're
for sure.
beautiful pigs.
Yes, we are.
The cute ones.
Yeah, a little pot belly one.
Yeah, little teacups.
Pot belly.
So thank you, Megan. We appreciate it.
That is really blowing my mind. It's very crazy. I think I say this every time there's a young person that has grown up with us. It's just very bizarre. But awesome.
Now let's go to the not so fun part.
Oh God.
Oh,
That's okay. I want to preface, like, I recognize that I have a short fuse today. I recognize it. I'm trying my best to manage that, but this wasn't the best day for this to happen.
Real quick, because I think we have some people that may be watching live on YouTube that don't know about us, that just maybe stumbled across us.
Oh, hey, that's fun.
So he says, what radio station are you guys on? We're on Hits 96.1 in Charlotte, North Carolina. You can always listen on the iHeartRadio app.
Yes.
Before we get to this negative part, let's go through some more positive stuff. Francisco, who we haven't heard from in a while. Good morning from Washington, fam. Happy Wednesday morning.
I saw Francisco's little baby girl. I think she's like 7 months now. Or maybe I am off my rocker. But he did just post a baby picture of her getting older, and Francisco has been such a integral part, and so I obviously wish him well always.
So good to hear from you. Tony said, we love you like this. Zinda said, you are diamonds in the rough. Nothing wrong with that, and ain't that the truth, girl? And Francisco said, well, we don't want well-produced podcasts. They're boring. The way y'all do things, it's sexy and wouldn't want it any other way. So thank you. Sexy. Now that we've patted ourselves on the back, let's get to the negative part. So earlier today, we were doing Queen City Confessions that we do stream live. And it's mostly just so we can then take it, edit it, and put it on to Reels or TikTok. And I can't see the comments during the segment because I'm reading the confessions that you all have written in. And so right as I was about to wrap up the segment, I looked at Holly, and Holly like pointed towards the comment section. And I was like, I don't even have time to like see what that is.
I wasn't trying to point to you. I was pointing to the viewers. I wasn't trying to rope you into my shenanigans.
I know. I just didn't know because I couldn't see it. So I just saw you point, and I was like, oh God. And I was like, well, we'll have to address it afterwards. And then I pulled my little Word document down, and I was like, Kelvin, go ahead and put it on the screen.
All right.
This is what Homeboy said. And I'm not going to say his name. You can look at it and see. It's under Queen City Confessions from Wednesday, September 6th. He says, these two are way too liberal for me. I don't listen to the radio for politicos, and these two took advantage on January 6th.
We took advantage, Miguel.
2021.
Yes.
In case
anybody just make it clear. Crying and everything, these two. Leave that political crap to your personal lives. And then we got to give a shout out to Shannon. Is that Fordney? Fordney. She responded to him and said, you don't have to listen, Sweet Pea. Thank you for that, Shannon.
Sweet pay.
And then homeboy said, and I don't, but I also don't have to stay quiet.
I know that's right.
Perfectly fine for me to state my opinion, Snookums. Okay, you can take it down.
Okay, yeah, I'll take it out. Remove.
Thank you, producer Kelvin.
Yeah.
So Holly, do you want me to? Let me go first, bro.
You go first.
Let me.
You go
Wait,
first.
Kelvin, you go first. You go first.
I wasn't
Kelvin.
even there.
No, you were behind the scenes. You saw it.
My thing is,
Like you weren't prepared. Like you didn't have a thought.
I just find it funny how
I think it's funny.
it's it's just been 2 years, my man.
Mhm.
Like if one single I'm sure you guys did not harp on it throughout the whole day, knowing how your show is. You did not harp on it. It was probably one fucking break, and then you guys moved it on, assuming, right?
No,
I'm sure.
I think we talked about it in the 7 o'clock hour.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I mean, when you think about that day, like when it happened and after, like that was a historic moment.
Yes, it
It really
was.
shocking. We
Right.
if I had to guess, we probably talked about it during like the trending segment.
Yeah, like every trending segment or
That
whenever you
would
had
be
that.
my guess.
But I
Yeah.
know we did open up the phones and talk to people and just to see how they felt. Because remember, at this time, like
there was a lot going on.
Mhm.
everybody was on the same page that was wrong.
Right.
So like we felt, because I remember thinking that morning that like this isn't one of those issues where it's like we're gonna take a side. This is like no matter who did this, that is wrong. You
Right.
don't do that and try to take over a peaceful transfer of power.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
That was
I
the
think
point.
everybody did agree. Like, okay, like everybody
Right.
was like, oh, that's a bad look. Like, that's not. And I think probably some, people that were, all gung ho on Donald Trump, even some of those people were still like, well, that's probably not the best idea.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. So for me, I felt it was silly,
Mm.
but that's just my 2 cents.
Mm.
Miguel.
So
Yeah.
Okay.
No, what?
I'm
He wants to say a few B words.
no, I'm trying to
F word?
okay, listen.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
Here's the thing that we at some point as a country have to get to is that we need to be able to separate what's right from wrong no matter what political party you are in.
Mm.
If that day you had a bunch of people with Biden, Harris signs, Obama signs, Clinton signs, climbing the Capitol walls, basically harming police officers,
Mhm.
we would condemn it and we would say those people should go to jail. And so the fact that you are sitting here trying to say, well, you cried about it. Do you not love this country? Do you not want to see the peaceful transfer of power? That's one of the beautiful hallmarks about our country. And what makes it so special is that you can have a fierce political debate, but if you lose fair and square, you go, all right, my man, I'll try again next time. And you don't try to do all of this.
Mm-hmm.
And so to me, when you say, well, you cried about it, to me, that makes you seem like you don't care about our country because I want to continue to see this beautiful democracy continue to evolve and to grow as it should.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I probably did cry about it that morning because it was shocking and it was sad. And if you don't see it that way, then I don't think you love your country.
Mm.
Pop.
Yeah.
Holly?
I mean, that's really what it is. You said it better than I could, I think. But this is not the first time that man has made that comment on one of our videos.
Right.
Maybe it was about 6 months ago. He made a very similar comment about January 6th and was like, I don't hear Holly fake crying on the radio. That was the other comment. And I'm like, if there's one thing I'm not going to do, it's fake cry.
Fake cry.
You don't know how to do that.
I literally, I could not I might be able to, Like I could probably come up with some tears on command,
Right.
but they'd be real. And let me explain why. Like, if you're going to tell me to cry right now, I'm going to dig in my memory and think of something that is actually upsetting to me and put my mind in that place and actually cry real tears about it. There's no such thing to me as like, I don't know what you mean by fake cry. Like, I wasn't really upset, but I'm putting on a show of crocodile tears. Like, that's not my MO.
Right.
If I'm upset about something, I'm going to cry because I'm a crier. Like, I don't know. It's embarrassing sometimes, I guess. But I think I've been a while. It's been a while since I've cried. My friend Aaron earlier this year was like, it's been a couple of podcasts since you haven't cried on one. I'm like, yeah, I think I'm doing okay.
We should have a sign up in the studio that says it's been this many podcasts since
Yes.
Holly cried.
Right. So it's like, okay, my crying is
Wait,
not.
that's the title
fake.
of the podcast today. It's been this many podcasts since Holly cried.
Okay, but I don't know. I mean, I don't think I can trot out any tears right now because I'm not a fake crier. Like, the thing is, so it's like this man is really, truly, clearly triggered by that day of
Right.
radio broadcasting.
Mhm.
Okay.
Right.
So much so that 2.5 years later, he is still just as angry as he was the day that it happened. He was upset. Y'all, like, we upset this man. We got in this man's something somewhere and hit a raw ass nerve. I don't know what it is. I don't know what is so upsetting. Maybe he is under the impression that Donald Trump fairly won the election and he was the product of an overthrow or whatever it is that storyline is that's been proven false.
Mhm.
But he hasn't got on board and he's like, Donald Trump won that election and how dare you? Like, maybe in this man's mind, it was fair to storm the Capitol because the evil people who were eating babies stole some election, whatever. And so maybe he's still on that train and he's like, F you guys, this country is in turmoil. And maybe that's like his reality. And
Right.
so maybe he is that messed up and he blames us.
Well, and that's what, as I was saying what I was thinking, and I was like, I could deviate and say, well, if you think, like, if you can't even agree that it was a fair and free election, you may need to start your own country. Because, like, I don't know what else that we can do as a country to prove that everything was fair when you have judges and people that make these decisions to say, you know, what was right and what was wrong. If they're like, no, what happened was right, you know, like,
But
we need
Miguel,
to move
we are
on.
dealing with that, but we are though.
Right. But
Like-
that's the problem. But when you have people like Mike Pence was like, I fulfilled my duty as vice president.
Mike Pence is over here. Who knew that Mike Pence would be the person that we
Right.
actually leaned on in a moment of crisis to uphold the Constitution?
Literally, and like the person that is over elections in Georgia was like, he's like a very conservative person, and he was like, it was fair and square. Like, we go through
Mhm.
all the. So I'm like, I don't, unless you, and maybe that's what it is. They want Donald Trump to go investigate the machines and literally go and tell you it's okay, which he's never going to do. Anyway,
so I think that it goes on all that. And he's
Yeah.
like, and this commenter keeps being like, you made radio political. I'm sorry, but we actually didn't. We're allowed to talk about the popular topics of the day. That would be like if I talked about, like, you know, the Kanye West,
The boat.
the boat incident, and someone was like, you shouldn't talk about that. It's pop culture.
Right.
Politics can also blur. I'm sorry, you elected
The
an
influencer.
actor
The
as
influencer
a
of presidents.
president. Like,
Yeah.
our line of pop culture and politics is irrevocably blurred.
Right.
Mhm.
And that's just how we're living nowadays. So that's like that's a deflection, dude. Like, so I don't really accept that. Like, of course we're going to talk about it. Do we ever preach on politics? No.
Would I
We
like
talk
to?
about-
Absolutely.
I know, Miguel would. But we don't because our show really stays in that pop culture lane, and sometimes politics deviates over to it, especially when your elected politician came from pop culture.
Right.
So it's don't blame us. That is the system that you're living in, and maybe you're mad at that, And that's fair. But we are also a product of that system. And we have a job to do. And we get paid to do that fucking job. So I'm sorry, but we're going to do it.
Right.
And you don't have to fucking listen. This I think was the most irritating point for me. I don't care. I could not give any less fucks about like arguing about politics, because that's not really the point of your comment.
Right.
Like, yes, somebody was like, you don't have to listen. He's like, oh, and I don't listen, but I can share my opinion. My man,
But you
doesn't make any sense.
Right.
If you didn't listen, you wouldn't have an opinion to share. So obviously you are listening. How is our video coming across your Facebook feed
Right.
unless you subscribe to it?
Correct.
You want to be mad. You want to be angry. I wish I could pull out some tears right now to really fire you up. I really wish I could.
Ooh, let's all fake cry.
Come fight me, bro. Come fucking fight me. I will cry in your goddamn face. You don't have to fucking listen. Get the fuck off of our page. You know what? Never mind. I'm gonna block you. I'll take some time. I'm done. Okay, I told you. I'm sorry, but I told you I got a short fuse today. I'm so sorry. I told you I had a short fuse, and I'm sorry for all the swear words. I am sorry. I retroactively
Think of little Maya.
apologize. I know.
Her mother listening.
I know. I'm so
She'll
sorry.
be like, that's my mama. That's my bitch right there.
No,
She don't let no
wouldn't.
crazy ass man
my
come
crazy
over my
ass man.
house.
I have a quick side story about that when we feel like we calm down. But I'm truly sorry. I know that there's a wide berth of people that listen to this. You shouldn't be subjected to that sort of language, and I do apologize. That's unprofessional of me. So I apologize for that.
This ain't the radio show, girl.
But
I know, that's right.
truly, I can't wait to get on the Miguel and Holly page and block that man, so he doesn't have to listen to our liberal bullshit anymore.
Mhm.
I'm doing him a favor.
Customer service.
I'm helping a man out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna help this man have less hate in his heart, and then I'll have less hate in my heart. It's a win-win. All right.
It's the win-win.
It's a win-win. All right. After all that, which, by the way, can I tell you my quick random side tangent?
Mm-hmm.
Maya, who is 10, and I had to have a very interesting conversation about alcohol. Her dad and I have differences of opinion on just parenting in general, which is a very common thing. Obviously, if you're a co-parenting, whatever. So Maya and I, long story short, we're having a conversation about alcohol. And I was saying to her, because she was like, well, if I grew up, I might have like some drinks. And I'm like, you might. And she's like, but I don't want to like get crazy. She's like, I will just only say I'm going to have one or two. And I said, okay. And I felt like I did an okay parenting job in this moment. I said, okay, but I'm going to tell you something about alcohol. You're going to tell yourself, oh, I only want two. But once you start drinking the alcohol, it makes the rational part of your brain turn off. And a different part of your brain comes on, and it might say, but now that we're feeling good, maybe we'll have another one.
I want some more.
I said, that's how it's sneaky a little bit. It sneaks up on you. So just know that when you start drinking alcohol, you are no longer really in control of your rational brain. And I go, and I know this because I've been there.
A few times.
She said, what? And I said, yeah, a couple times. And she goes, the Holly O'Connor that I know. And I was like, and in my head, I was like, oh man, yeah. And I was like, yeah, that happened. And she was like, maybe when you were like 18 or something. I don't know. And I'm like, mm-hmm. Well, anyway, do you have any other questions?
You've now reached that life where your daughter doesn't realize that you've had
a whole entire life.
Right. You're just mom.
I'm just mom.
Your job is mom.
Like I'm
I'm mom.
I could take Maya to lunch and be like, So let me teach you a little something about Miss Holly O'Connor and some of her experiences.
It would
Let's
be
start in college.
No, God.
There is a stairwell story.
Oh,
then
God.
let's start with, I'm like,
All right, calm down. All right, calm down. But I added to that. I go, I didn't drink in high school, Maya, which is very true. I never did. I said I didn't drink in anything until I got to college. But we talked about that. But like, it is so bizarre when you are just mom to your kid. Like, I'm not this person that just ranted and screamed on Facebook.
No, I get it.
I'm not a person that drinks. I'm not a person that, does like crazy shenanigans. I am just her mother, and her mother is at the house cooking dinner, putting her to bed, playing Zelda, like, putting together her lunch menu.
Right.
Like, I'm just that person. And it's both endearing and also like, I'm so sad that I can't actually be the person that she thinks I am. Like, I want to be fully just that, but I'm not just that.
You can't be at this point.
But I am. I try my best to be like the best version of me around her at all times. And clearly, I think I must have been doing a good job at that, based on that response, So I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I don't think we have to let it all hang out when our kids are very small.
No.
I think, it goes as you grow. And by the time she's 25, she's going to know a lot more about me in an age appropriate and laid out manner. You know what I mean?
When she find these podcasts, girl, we got.
That's right.
We got 7 years worth.
You had trouble with these podcasts.
She's gonna be like,
learn a lot.
Oh, mom, you felt that way when I was 6 years old about me? Huh? Got
Mom,
it.
you called me a B word.
Tell her. In the nicest way, Calvin. I don't appreciate you acting like I'm calling her that in a mean way.
I always told you I love it when you call her that.
She's my little bee. I'm Big B and she's little
Listen,
bee.
that's
Bees
better
together.
than my mom used to be like, you know what your initials stand for? MF. Okay.
My
She said that
goodness.
to me. So
You're like, thanks.
you fine.
Thanks.
You fine.
But yeah, so I really wish I feel like I never want her to listen to the podcast because I just want to be like, I think every parent wants to, be the best version. And obviously in my life, I'm never the best version of myself unless I'm parenting. Or I try to. Anyway.
But I feel like, though, obviously now as a 10-year-old, you don't want her to, see all this. But I feel like as she gets older, that sort of like harkening back to your relationship with your mom and like how you always thought that she was like the perfect mom and you had something that you had to be perfect just like her. And if you weren't, you were failing. And so I think this is actually a good microcosm for her to see that, wow, my mom has a depth of emotions. And while she was going through a divorce, she also was still going to work and taking care of me. And she was so good at it and balanced and cared for me so much that she was able to make it happen. And I'm so proud for her for doing that.
You hope that.
Right.
There's the chance that she could end up in therapy being like, my mom didn't try hard enough. She could. And
she
that
could.
Would really
she
kill me.
could.
It would really kill
and then
me, but
I'll be like, girl, you wrong. Let your Uncle Miguel tell you that you're wrong, girl. I love you. You have all the opinions, but you're wrong here. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, well, there that is. Yeah. Well, you can just back me up and let her know that I really did my best.
Chrissy Craddock said, by the way, she's an OG listener, Chrissy Craddock.
Yes.
If you've listened for as long as I have, you know Miguel and Holly's political views because they live their life by them with honor and faithfully long before, which is a beautiful thing to have convictions now. So he's a troll. Trolls belong under the bridge and wash downstream.
Yeah, that's why I'm about to wash this man downstream. But I gotta find him.
Oh, your mom's on.
Oh, hey, Mom.
Hey, Mom.
My mom got mad at me the other day because she found out that I bought a new car through the podcast. And she was like, you don't tell me shit no more. You got a husband. You don't tell me nothing. And I was like, I'm tired and I'm sorry. Things happen really fast in my life sometimes.
Sometimes they do happen fast.
It was a very quick buy.
It was because I wasn't expecting it. But it was like, we did it that Friday and I wasn't expecting it to. And then we like had something that night that we had to make it to. Okay, before we go, I want to try this, Holly, on the podcast before we do it on the air.
Oh.
You had an idea that you brought forward about a little game.
Yeah. I just saw it on Twitter or whatever.
And I wanted to bring it, I'm trying to pull it up, to the podcast.
I just saw that and I was like, man, we should do this here.
Actually, I'm going to take it over here. Oops.
I don't even know how to block people on our page.
All right, hold on. Okay, here we go. And make sure there's nothing that shouldn't be seen on here before I put it on the screen.
Yes.
Actually, hold on. Kelvin, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, girl. I'm doing good. You know what I miss?
What?
Playing
What?
Would You Rather.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Oh, that was fun.
I thought
we did
people
that
got
for a
tired of
minute.
that.
Maybe they did. Maybe we don't do it every time.
Right.
Maybe like once every couple weeks we drop
Yeah.
that out or something.
Wait, didn't I have like a theme it was around?
Usually they were pretty awful. It was like eating your fingers or like
Yeah, what
giving
was
up your first
Was
boy.
it like Halloween or something?
Was it Hollow?
It wasn't Halloween, but
No.
no.
What was it?
you just randomly spring it up on us.
Okay. If y'all liked it, tell us in the comments if you like the if you like that. All right, here we go. Let me share this. This is the unprofessional part. Y'all like this is about the podcast.
This is the rough.
Yeah, this
Right?
is where we're like just
Time
trying
for
to
the
cobble
rough.
it together.
All right, here's my teams. Okay. It's called Flashlights. So there's a game me and my friends play called Don't Get Me Started. And basically, someone gives you another person a random topic and they have to go on an angry rant about it. And it's the best thing that's ever happened to us at parties and car rides. So I highly recommend playing sometimes with your friends.
So you like, I would say to Miguel, or wait, how does it? So someone says to you,
A random
basically
topic.
someone gives
Mhm.
another person a random topic and they have to go on an angry rant about it. So, okay, like, I don't know. I would
Like
say something like,
Like,
Like traffic.
the size of parking spaces
Oh.
in Charlotte.
don't get me started about how small these fucking parking spaces are. Like, I'm sorry. It's not like y'all create these parking spots with horse and buggies, so you know how big these damn cars are. So why the hell would you make them so small?
I like that.
I mean, you actually have a big ass car, so
You do have a big
yeah.
car, but I
Even
also know
before
they're
that!
small. I know they're small.
My Volvo wasn't that big.
That's also a lot. No, it's fine. No, I get it. It's fine.
Kelvin, pumpkin spice lattes.
What the? Okay, that's hard. Don't get me started on pumpkin spice lattes.
Oh, you know what? Really quick. I
Mhm.
guess it has to be an angry rant. But I was gonna say, what if you were like, "Don't get me started," and it went to a good direction. But I guess the thing said angry, so
I might say if we were a Christian radio station, that's how they would do it.
don't get me started. I
Don't get
love
me
it.
started.
I'm loving every minute
I
of it.
love it.
Don't even get me started. It's so cinnamony.
Wait, maybe that's the angle.
Maybe that's more the Miguel and Holly brand.
No, it's not. We are a mix, bitch. We are
On
not
air.
the Christian rate. No, even on air.
On podcast.
No, even on air. We ain't that. We ain't. Listen, don't push us off to the AC radio station. Okay?
You would not go hard about pumpkin spice lattes.
I would. I would do it in my way,
Oh.
the Miguel and Holly way. Do you want me to do it?
Go ahead. What do you not like about pumpkin spice lattes?
Don't get me started about pumpkin spice lattes and how society makes me feel like I'm not a part of something because everybody has to like pumpkin spice, not only in their lattes, but it's got to be in your pie. It's got to be in your shaving cream. You got to have air fresheners in your car. What if I don't like pumpkin spice? Does that make me non-American? Because apparently you put it into the lexicon of everything that's American. I don't like it.
That would have been the direction I would have gone to.
Got it.
That's how
And
I would do it.
I would have somehow worked in like, where's Apple? Where's cinnamon apple? Get Apple its day. Anyway,
I couldn't think of anything, to be quite honest. I fucking love pumpkin spice. I want it all. I want it all. They even have dude wipes. They're called Dumpkin spice.
no.
Mhm.
Now it's gone too far. See, it's gone too far.
That's too much.
And you couldn't even do it about that. Like
That's
you
too
like
much.
that. You want it.
I do want it.
Okay. But see, I feel like that could be an interesting twist where somebody is like, don't get me started. And then the other person takes the pro position and goes, don't get me started. Anyway.
I like it. We got to workshop this one. I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
I feel like it could be a thing.
There has something there.
There's a there, as Boss Man Will used to say.
By the way, Boss Man Will was here this weekend in Charlotte. I got to take him and his partner around, Abe and I, and show them the city. What was really great is by Sunday, we went to lunch with a friend, and everyone was like, so y'all good to just sit and watch a movie? Because we were supposed to go to this like Sunday fun day thing that we always miss because we got to work. And all weekend I was like, hazy Sunday, hazy Sunday, hazy Sunday. It starts at 4 at Petra's. Yay. And then by like 1 o'clock, we were like, so
that's nap time.
I'm going to just make chicken parm. We're going to watch a scary movie. Let's call it a day.
That's where it is. That's where it is. Cozy.
Our honorary or new Platypus Posse member that's been watching on YouTube has said, have you guys thought about doing the morning radio show live on YouTube and Twitch and Rumble and Kick at the same time you're live on the radio on air in the future? Absolutely. But that takes a staff and more technology than our little radio show gets.
I ain't never heard of some of these things.
Yeah, Rumble and Kick.
You lost me after Twitch.
Yeah. That sounds like that. You ever see that meme where it's like for parents where it's like log on to your child's Zamblzoot account and click the Zamibia link. But did you get the peekaboo folder in the Blogdorf drive? Like that's what I felt like when I saw Kick.
Oh my god, I almost peed on myself. I didn't pee this morning. Oh,
well, I'm not making fun of you. I'm just saying, like, no. I clearly don't have a frame of reference for all those things, but we should. Yeah,
no,
it's
absolutely.
Just
so
that's a lot to do.
I don't think you're very familiar with our show, but in the scale of morning shows in the iHeart universe, we are pretty down on the totem pole for things that get resources.
Sometimes I feel like they're like, oh yeah, you guys.
Well, and I'm telling this story not to make fun of this guy or not to disparage him at all. It was really funny. It was just like, okay, you really understand. Like, I know where we rank. Like, we are the new kids on the block in the iHeartRadio, morning shows. So we're not going to get the newest, greatest things. That's reserved for because they make a lot of money for the company, and we do not right now.
No.
Elvis Duran in New York and Ryan Seacrest in LA.
Right.
Which they bring in
and Bobby
millions
Bones.
And Bobby Bones.
Yes, you've heard of these people.
Yes, they make millions of dollars for this company. So when they were putting our new studios together, and I was talking to the video guy that goes around to the new buildings and, teaches you how to do everything. And I was like, well, here's what I want to do. And I went down this laundry list of like, here's my wish list of what we could do.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I remember that.
I was like, and as I was talking, I was like, oh, and let me.
You were.
I should have known.
You had very high expectations.
If somebody is in front of me that can make a decision, is in front of me, I'm going to ask. I'm always going to ask to let us have the best of whatever is available. So I was like, okay, so let me show you this video that Elvis Duran and their morning show did. This is what I want us to look like on social media.
Oh, right. Okay.
And the guy very nonchalantly, and there was not an ounce of shade in his voice. He just simply said, well, that's Elvis Duran. Y'all aren't. So when it comes to connecting,
he just
I literally I had the video pulled up and I just slowly put my phone down. It was like,
you're like,
you right.
Oh, okay.
We're not. You right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, so to answer your question, we would love to be able to do that.
Yeah.
I don't think that's in the cards right now.
Not yet.
Now.
That's what I always say. We
Not right
don't
now.
have that yet.
Yet, absolutely.
Yeah.
He's like,
y'all aren't Elvis Duran.
I'm like, you know what? You ain't wrong. But just give us some time.
That's right. It's just not yet. Okay.
We'll get
yet.
there.
Yeah.
Listen, no one would thought we would be here. So Just give me some motherfucking time.
A lot of swearing on this podcast.
Lots
We
of
Don't
put a
swear.
count
we put a-
this black man down,
explicit warning on this.
or that white woman down,
That's
or
right.
that Hispanic man down.
That's right.
Mm-mm. All right, let's just read some comments before we get out of here. Teresa said, "I love this. Don't get me started." So we'll play a couple different angles on the podcast to see what we like, and then take it to the air, so y'all can help critique it for us.
Yeah.
Tony and Zinda said they loved Would You Rather.
Mhm.
So we'll have to bring that back. And then we have Teresa who said, "Thank God I am working from home today. Y'all have me rolling. I think I peed a little."
Oh, that's good.
That's healthy.
Love it when that can happen.
Yeah.
And then how do you say Walnus?
Yeah.
Is that how you say his name?
Walnuts. Yeah, walnuts. I would say walnuts.
Walnus. He's the one giving us the ideas about the video stuff. He said, "Okay, that's good. I've only seen the KVJ show. That's Kevin, Virginia, and Jason in West Palm doing the same stuff. I
What?
just asked you guys.
What company is KVJ with, Miguel?
They're Hubbard.
They're also bigger than. They're big.
Well,
They've got a good following.
they've been doing that on their own for a long time.
In that area too for a really long time.
Well,
And
thank
they've
you.
got support. So
Anytime someone can compare us to a show like that, who I've taken some ideas from.
we've gotten quite a few segments from KVJ. Thank you to them and producer Dennis.
All right, producer Kelvin, how can people find you on social media?
At Kelvin Live, TikTok, X, Instagram.
Holly.
Radio Holly on TikTok, Twitter, X, Instagram. I do have a Facebook page, but it's like facebook.com/O'Connor.Holly. That's it.
I'm facebook.com/Radio Miguel. You can also find me on Instagram, Be Real Peloton at Miguel Fuller. We will see you back here on Friday. Bye.
Miguel and Holly Uncensored.